today's going to be an inbox review about something that you guys know I love to build. And I just want to start off with saying I am doing on the Panther a late to fully restored version. I got to the torsion bars, and there is a seam down each side of each bar, and the nibs are in bad places, and clean them up. So I spent about 2.5 hours just cleaning up the 16 torsion bars. And that brings me to this review. Every time I clean torsion bars on a Panther, I'm like, I'm never going to do another Panther. But I love the Panther, so I have another Panther to do. This is the BergePanther Ausf A, so version A. It's assembled in Demang. Now, I know I built a BergePanther, but it turned more into a project to test weathering and things like that. And it was just a very basic BergePanther. This one has the bracing shovel and an awesome winch system inside of it. So when I saw this, it was like, I want to build that winch inside where the fighting compartment would be in a regular tank. So let's take a look here at the side. As you can see, it's full interior, of course, because I love full interior. And, you know, we got our familiar engine, which I love. And there is the winch system. And you can see the interior there. And I wanted to make it more realistic to these colors on this one. So, I get to build another Panther chassis. And I tell you, eventually, I'm going to get it right. And I'm going to do it perfectly. So there's your sprue map, a little bit of PE, the length and link track, which I have videos on, and it's not fun, but I enjoy challenges. I enjoy kits. I don't care how long it takes. I'm not on a time crunch or anything. This isn't getting started anytime soon. This is just a look at the sprues. I don't plan on starting this anytime in the near future. So, we're still moving everything in to the new studio work area, and I can't work on the Yag Tiger yet, so, but tomorrow hopefully I'll be working on it. So, we got the book, which we will look at later, and we have here, what do we have here? We have the road wheels. We got your road wheels. So, we got some road wheels there. And then the fantastic torsion bars, which are fun. And I can show you on these torsion bars what I'm talking about. See, as you look, you can see the connection point is right here. That's real flimsy, hard to clean off. There's a seam, a mold seam that goes all the way down the sides of each bar. There's a little seam right here on the mating side. And then they all got to be painted German gray before they're put in. And the hull's got to be painted. Now, I'm not going to be building this kit for a while, so I'm going to rebag everything, so you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to do it as quietly as possible. You know me, I normally rebag everything in Ziploc bags, but this kit's not going to be built for a while, so I don't have a lot of the large Ziploc bags, so as I use them, I reuse them and stuff. So here's H3, this is your side skirts, a little bit different than the side skirts were on a T-sprue on the Panther. And I don't remember what the sprue was. Yeah, they were they were on the T sprue. They were T11. And these are why do I see it? G31 and G33. There's that, and then you have your S hooks and things like that. I'm going to try not to take these out so all the noise And then we have your E2 sprue, which I find that all the E2 sprues have one extra component sometimes. I don't know if they clip the stuff off or what, but I had an E-sprue with stuff here and stuff here, and then there was also longer pieces connected to it. So, and then you have your F2 sprue, which is your drive sprockets, your outer coverage for your drive sprockets, and you have your tools, your jack, your multi-part jack, which I like. I like a multi-part jack. So, looks like you get two different jacks on here. I think the trumpeter multi-part jack is my favorite. We have the hull. Instead of a round top. Oh, the helicopter flying over. Hope you can't hear that. This has a square top here. So instead of the round top, so that's a little bit different. It's got some different side holes compared to a Panther. And then you got your track jig and your road wheel alignment jig. Here you have T2 and S2. These are all unique to this kit. Looks like we have some kind of canvas type thing. This is the back shovel. That looks like one piece. That looks very nice. Very nice on that. So, that. Okay, let's see. Then we got your M and your L. This is your transmission and your small bits for your engine. That's standard. L and M are your standard in all your Panther kits. And then we should have in B3, this is unique. This looks like the winch system, the pulley system that is in the inside the BergePanther Mark A, version A, Ausf A. I'm going to say it. This should be C and V for your tracks. C and F, sorry. C and F for your tracks. Then we have K3, which is standard for the BergePanther. This is the same K3, I believe is the BergePanther sprue for the other one I have built on the channel. And then we have P5, wow, 5. This is your winch arms and whatnot. Rear engine hatch, a bulkhead, some exhaust, some lower skirting that goes on the rear of the hull. Hope it's not too glary. This turns out bad, I apologize. Here we got your nylon rope for your winch cable, some chain, some photo etch, and a little thing of decals. And then here's your U sprue, which is very sparse. A lot of pieces missing from this U sprue. When I pull out my U sprue from my Panther, I'm going to show you what's missing from this, because I know there's more parts supposed to be on that. Here's your end sprue. This is your engine. I know this. I've built many of these end sprues. N, L, and M are your, if you're building a Panther, you're getting those sprues. And G2, this is standard in the BergePanther. I have this same sprue in my first BergePanther. You can see these jerry can tanks. I actually have built and weathered some here. They don't call for them in the instructions, but I just wanted to mess around with the seams and the panels and the oil washes and some rust effects. So that is that. Let us bust out these instructions and see how this is built. And I have my instructions for my Panther sitting right next to me. So we'll see how the chassis differs. Okay, in the beginning, we have, this is standard BergePanther. This is the same as what's built in the first BergePanther. Yeah, see, this is exactly the same as the BergePanther I built. And if you watched my Panther video, I'll show you where there was a mistake in the instructions right now, because you're going to find this interesting. Right here, if you look at these two sets of instructions, hopefully I can get them all both in here. So like this. You look at this step and this step of the instructions. Let me get my little pointer thing here. Okay, you have removing things, that's different. But if you look here, this step 1, you're gluing L1 to there, and you're gluing the front armor plate. They're different pieces, but you're gluing those down. But where they differ is you're not gluing L11 down. On the Panther model, you're gluing that down first, but on the BergePanther, you're gluing it down after you glue the transmission in. And I'll tell you right now, on this, if you glue this piece in the beginning on a Panther, you're not going to get the transmission in. I learned that the hard way. I had to trim some stuff. I had to put this back plate that's going to go on last. I have to put that on afterwards. So that one little piece has messed me up. And it's in the instructions to do it that way. And I built it that way. So I don't know what the order of building these kits were. This BergePanther is kit number 2101. I don't see a date. What's the date on it? I don't really have a date on it. I'm just checking for a date real quick. 2018. So it was the same year as the other Panther, so I don't know why they mixed up the chassis like that. But that's very critical to put that in last. And the same thing with this. Build your transmission while it's still tacky because there's some movement. Go ahead and test fit it. You know, you already have the sections built with the walls. Go ahead and test fit it. And then, you know, do these parts. It's nice that on these H3s, there's nothing to remove because that's a lot to remove. This section right here, I attached this to the transmission before I install it. And then when I pop the sides on, it lines up, and that way it can be painted with the transmission. Actually, I think I have that built up right now. This is for the Panther, but you can see I have this section attached. I find it easier. It gets painted, and then it gets put together, and it lines up great. If you test fit that transmission and everything lines up, you shouldn't have a problem. And I test fitted it while the glue was wet, so I could make sure it lined up just fine. So let us move on here. So then we're putting on the lower hull assembly. Surprise, there's not a correction for this because you don't want to put on this back wheel until you put the tracks on. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time getting that idler wheel on. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't put that on yet. You don't want to put that back wheel on until you put the tracks on with the idler wheel. So I just they stick together. Just squeeze fit them together. Don't glue it. And then I put the wheels on at the end. I built the BergePanther, and I put the wheels on right away like it says in here. And I bent them. I messed them up. They were hard to weather. They were hard to do anything extra to. So I'm going to leave it like this, with the arms like this, and then I'm going to do all my building, weathering, and things like that, and then I'll do the wheels and the tracks separately. You could actually do the wheels and the tracks where you don't glue them on there, and you glue the tracks on, and you can slide the whole unit off. But I'm going to paint my road wheels individually. And I think I might have steel road wheels on these instead of the rubber, because I want to be different. So we have the rear housing, rear bulkheads for the engine compartment. Remember this one, the stuff inside is getting painted differently. E13, E14, and E10, these are supposed to have hydraulic wires coming out of the bottom of that. I'll take care of that with some lead wire. And I recommend putting those pieces on before you glue these hull sides on. Where's it at? While you're doing this, go ahead and glue these on because they'll get painted before you glue them together, and it's easier. You're not spot painting it on the finished model. And then the track system, disregard this, follow this section here. That's the correct way to do it. This is the correct way they're supposed to look with the detail on the outside. This shows it on the inside for some reason. I have 3 videos on my channel under the BergePanther talking about these tracks, the best optimal way to do these. It's a pain in the butt, but if you take your time and you pay attention and you do them as much as you can on the while they're still on the sprue, it's not that bad. And have a decent pair of cutters. Like I recommend the 123 Tamiya 123, and they're barely small enough, but they seem to work. And then it shows you putting on the track in two pieces. Like I said, you could not glue the wheels on and then glue the track on to the wheels and then slide the whole unit on and off if you so choose. And then we're building up the winch system, which I like to build all my internal pieces normally ahead of time, but I might build them after what it says in this one, just so I can see how they fit. So, and then we have the side stowage on the sides of the upper hull. We have the winch going in, and then we have the engine. Very many pieces. Engine's a kit in itself, let me tell you. A lot of detail in it. It's a beautiful engine. Paint up, weather it, it looks good. Some more exhaust and whatnot. This part right here, I wrecked this. In my BergePanther, I destroyed this right here. It's sad. I absolutely destroyed it. And then there's another piece up here that I destroyed. Where is it? Oh, it's not going. It doesn't go in this model. Okay. Here you have the rear going on, and then you have your whoop tools and stuff, and your engine hatches. Yeah, that's a P5 engine hatch. And then you're gonna have to change your tracks and more tools. You're gonna add your inner armor piece in the front with your periscopes. And then you're going to add your radio. And you got some more front pieces, the fenders. And then you have the back shovel piece started, that going on. And then you have the box and the arm brackets. A little bit of photo etch there. Oh no, that's not photo etch, that's T2. Some models T is photo etch, TP or something. So more box detail, and then you're putting the box detail on. And then here you go. That's all for the first option. And then you can have this option here. You can have option 1, 2, 3, and 4 for putting the box on. And then now on step 52, you have option 1, 2, which are different. And then you have option 3. And then you again do 53. And then on step 54, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 different options also. That I would assume correspond to 54.1 corresponds to 52.1 and 51.1. So that's how you would do it. I would just mark what variant I was doing, and then I would highlight and mark through the other ones. And here's what your color callouts in MIG and what it would look like in camo and the different. You got some Hungary 45, Western Front in 43, Bovington in 45, it was captured, and then Western Front in 45. I like doing captured ones, so I might do that. And then we have interior painting guide, pretty much red oxide, German red brown, and then you have that German cream color on the inside. And then you have radio and periscopes. And then you also have an ad for the BergePanther Ausf D. This is the one I've already built. So, and then here's some more of the interior with your engine detail and your winch detail. So not a lot of interior colors. I have the big German interior color set, so I'll be using that. The white I have is a little lighter than this. This looks like it has a little bit of brown or yellow in it. So I might try to mix that color, or I might put down the cream-wise color and then do a brownish filter over it to change the color with some oils. So I can mix a yellowy brown oil filter and put that on there and see what it looks like. So, but that's what the first BergePanther's for, is testing things like that. So that's going to do it for this sprue review. This is the BergePanther Ausf A. It's got the little winch thing in there. It's on a Panzer V chassis, same as the Panther. So it's got a little machine gun, an MG34. If you saw the toolkits in my last random video, some of those guns and firearms will be going into this, along with some other builds I have in 135th scale German. Now, I just build the 135th scale German because I like the Panther and the Tiger, not because they were German and they were great weapons, but the flaws. I mean, they would build these tanks and they would constantly break down with their chassis, their transmission, and their engine. Their engine didn't have enough power to power these things. Their transmissions were just finicky and they could get overworked real easy, but they continued to produce them, and they continued to like try to make the tanks heavier and tougher with the same flaws without addressing any of that. And they tried to fight a war to win a war with these. And it's amazing ingenuity that went into these, and that they were able to build this type of equipment with technology that they had in the 30s and the 40s. But to not address flaws and to constantly try to build something bigger and better on a chassis that was imperfect. And that's why I like building these Panthers and BergePanthers and BergeTigers and King Tigers, Tiger 2s, Tiger 1s. I don't have any Tiger 1s currently, but I think it's cool. I got a book on the Tiger tanks. I got a book on the Panther tanks, their history and stuff. So I'm going to be reading up on that, and I'll share a little bit of that with you guys. But I just find it interesting, as flawed as these vehicles were, they still managed to do something, but they could have been so much better if the flaws were fixed, if they were paying attention to the detail. You know, I think of German engineering at the pinnacle of, if you want to engineer something to tight tolerances and great product and, just perfect engineering, through manual processes, not through computer aided or CNC, but manual process. German engineers and German machinists were some of the best. I used to work in machining, and I used to do everything on manual lathes and mills. And one of the gentlemen was an older German guy, and he taught me so much stuff in engineering that you wouldn't learn in school or on the job. Just little things that just make it. And it's amazing that I know that these engineers were fantastic, but they couldn't fix flaws. I'm not saying I know how to fix the flaws, or I could have fixed the flaws back then, but it's like they just never addressed the flaws. So that's going to do it for this video. Sorry about the rant at the end about the flaws in the vehicles. For Crazy Gamers Models, I am the Crazy Gamer. You guys have a fantastic day.